Everybody's in debt these days. Student loan debt, credit card debt, even shoe debt, cell phone debt. I remember back in my day, whereas you wanted a new cell phone, you had to pay it off and then you start paying your bill or whatever the bill was. But now, the phone companies say, hey, let's just put them on a payment plan for the phones as well, and we'll sell more phones. And that's what they're doing, and everybody is walking around with debt. So bad that we're actually in a national debt crisis with the people in America. Us as Americans, we live paycheck to paycheck. But is the debt the reason we don't have financial independence? Is debt the reason we're not making an extra few dollars? Let's talk about it. When it comes to debt, some people will argue that, yes, I'm in debt for my cell phone bill, but my cell phone makes me money because I work off my phone, I do things off my phone to get money. Some people could also say, well, my car actually makes me money because without my car, I can't get to work and everything comes down crumbling. So my car makes me money. So this is the debt that I need. Of course, you will have the Doru people and the people who run the rental car businesses, etc., with all the rental car apps they have out now. They will argue and say, well, my car actually makes me money, so this is actually some debt that I have to take on. Me, personally, I don't think that debt is actually the issue. Everyone talks about the national debt crisis, how high car repossessions are right now, and things of that nature, but I think that's more of a personal decision for us to buy things that don't make us better, things that don't make our financial situation better. Let's talk about obtaining house debt. Let's say that you are 30 years old. You graduated school at 24, you've been working for 6 years. Let's say you make $80,000 a year. You have about $5,000 saved up. You are responsible, you don't have consumer debt, or if you did have consumer debt, you're actually working on paying that off. Consumer debt, things like clothes, etc., things that just don't make you any money. Let's say that that individual goes and buy a house that they can live in, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. They found one for $299,000. They moved in the house. It's a starter home, right? 3 years later, that house is now worth $330,000. They gained about $31,000 in equity, right? $330,000 in 3 years, right? We're just using conservative numbers, right? Now, they have this debt and they need somewhere to live, okay? They actually would have been paying more in rent, but they own this house, right? So they got this house, and then 2 years later, they meet a spouse, right? Whether it's a man or a woman, they meet their person, and the person is like, hey, well, listen, this house no longer serves us. Let's go buy a bigger house. What they can do, right? So he had this house for 5 years. Let's say the individual, he or her, had this house for 5 years. And let's say that the market took off, right? Being that the market took off, now they're selling this house for $360,000. So after all the realtors pays, etc., they are walking away with $40,000 in profit. Now let's say that that same individual was renting, right, and just created consumer debt. He wouldn't have walked away with $40,000. Right? For those who might say, oh, well, $40,000 is not a lot of money. Having $40,000 in a lump sum at one time, tax-free, because the IRS tax code, you lived in the house the last 2 years, you are eligible for tax-free capital gains up to $250,000. As a single person, $500,000 you marry. So this person get $40,000 lump sum, and now they have that in their savings account. The average savings in America, I want to say, is about $400. $400, he has $40,000 in his account, and he's about to get married. Now, do you think this is going to help out his life and his marriage? Absolutely, and help them get the house, and they have a combined income. But see, they got debt, right? But he got the right kind of debt, right? With most people, they go out and get the wrong kind of debt that doesn't make any money. They try to justify having a $1,000 car note. Even though, the Turo's down and all the gurus, they was talking about that 2-3 years ago. Oh, you want a luxury car, that's how you get a luxury car. Go get the luxury car, you run it out on Turo, and yeah, you run this play, this, that, and the third. If you notice, if you go on social media, nobody's talking about Turo right now. Very few people, all right, are talking about Turo right now. The reason being, it's not performing like it once was when the economy was great. However, for the people who own houses, if they sell a house, they're still walking away with $40,000, $50,000, especially in the major city, if your house is priced right. Yes, things are sitting, but if your house is priced right, it's still selling. It's not that debt is bad. It is that you have to obtain the right kind of debt. Let's talk about this. What is the right type of debt? Let's do good debt, bad debt. Good debt makes you money. Bad debt costs you money. Simple as that. Something I did, I keep all my credit cards at home. Only time my credit cards leave the house are for pre-planned purchases only. Now I'm disciplined enough, it doesn't matter if I have them on or not. If I don't need it, I don't need it. But pre-planned purchases only. And therefore, that keeps me out of getting into consumer debt that I can't control. Do I have house debt? Absolutely. I got a bunch of it, but that debt makes me money. What you need to do is focus on what makes you money. So this is the type of debt that you are. Let's say that you are in a bunch of consumer debt. What I want you to do is create a plan to pay that off, right? Maybe you want to get into real estate. Maybe you want to get into wholesaling, right? Wholesaling houses where you can make $10,000 and $20,000 out of thin air and start paying down that debt and put yourself in position to buy a primary residence, because you should buy a primary residence. And if you are able to in your market, try to get a duplex, rent one side out, and let that either help out with your side or pay the whole mortgage if possible, right? You want to look for a duplex, triplex, up to a quad. A quad is 4 units. You want to look for that, right? Ideally in up and coming areas. You can't be afraid to take on house debt, but you're not afraid to take on debt for vacations and clothes, etc., because those things don't make you money. Again, let's go back to the good debt, bad debt theory. So at this point, I'm going to show you a video of a gentleman who was able to not only create his financial independence through debt, but also able to build a legacy for his family. He used to play pro basketball across seas, and now he owns apartment complexes in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is an extremely competitive market. So click on this vid and check that out, man. I'm Nasser, AKA the Real Estate Doru. I'm not a guru, I'm a doer, because I actually do this business. Peace.